Okay, as expected, I kind of got cut off there. What we're going to look at doing, hopefully I can get through these next couple examples here. We were taking a look at it says increment a number by 1. And you notice it says bonus here, use a for loop for increment and print 5 times. Now I wanted to kind of show that for loop anyways, and so even though it says bonus here, we're going to do that. We're going to need a loop in order to do minimum and maximum values anyways in the next kind of section. So let's take a look back. We left off at the kind of the website where I started to enter some code. And I was introducing you to the kind of for loop. So to start a for loop, we do for open bracket, and then I kind of initialized a number just as we did in that other section. Integer number 1 equals 0, that initialized it. Then I had a semicolon, and this part here of a for loop is basically do while. So while number 1 is less than 5, and then to get it looping, we have number 1 plus plus, so it's going to just keep increasing that value of number 1 as we go through the loop. And what you can see in Java is that lines end with a semicolon. Just one kind of structure thing you should get used to. And then we encapsulate things within curly brackets. So this for loop is going to happen actually within here before. This kind of sets up the for loop, and then these curly brackets here, that's where our actions are going to take place. And in this case, really all we need to do is print the value of number 1, right? We actually already have in this loop, it's going to loop through this. It's going to keep going around and around and around until number or num is, or while num is less than 5, it's going to go through that. And then each time number 1's going to go up every time we go through this. So it's going to increment, and so we want to print when we do that. So let's take a look at what that print line looks like again from our assignment. And I had an example. This code, when you're programming, lots of times it's not about memorizing code. It's about being able to access code and then manipulate it to meet your needs. So in this case, so we have a for loop here, and this is your basic for loop setup. And all I want to do is I want to system out dot print ln, and then we want open brackets string value of, and this is just converts basically, and the integer value into a string, and then we're going to kind of get the results here. So that's all I should really need. It should print 5 different lines if I did this correctly, if this is right in my head. This for loop should loop through 5 times until number is no longer less than 5, and then it is going to print that number as it increments. So it should go, I don't know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see if it does that. And so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hit my kind of run button. And it's saying a success, but I don't see my result. Oh, there we go. And so that's exactly what it did. You can see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looped through, and each time it went through, okay, first time it was 0, num was 0. Second time it was 1. Third time it was 2. Fourth time it was 4. And then after that it was no longer less than, right? It was equal to, or less than. It was no longer less than 5. And so that's done. And so now from there, as I showed you how to use the snipping tool in the last kind of section, I'm just going to grab my snipping tool here. I'm going to do a new snippet. So I'll just go new, and I'm going to get my results here, grab my code, and once again, just copy is fine. Go to my Word document, and you can see I have my other snippings there. One of them has somebody's advertising in it. And then I'm just going to right click. I'm just going to paste that. And we should have had a paste there. I don't know where the heck it went. Paste is not happening for me right now. There we go. Sorry. I just hit Control V and it seemed to, now it looks like I have this 3-4 times. Of course. So anyways, I'll shrink this down so it's more manageable. Once again, my preference is behind text. And then when I want to work with that, I can grab it right to where, what is this one? Not sure where that code went. It's probably because I inserted a whole bunch of different times. There it is right there. And so now that's there. And again, I think I did behind text there now. Now I can see that. And so that's part C is done. Now, I'm hoping I can get through part D here, which is a little more complex before the end of this video. So let's get to it. So going back to my assignment, what it's asking for next is it's looking for find the minimum and maximum values of an array of numbers you may need as teacher assistants. I'm only going to do maximum for you. Actually, I'm going to leave min to yourself. If I can do minimum with you, you should have something left here to do. Or sorry, if you can do maximum, you should be able to do min. So I've already actually done this, but I'm going to go in and kind of show you how this works. So let's see if I can do it from memory, and if not, I'll cheat and look back at what I already did. So back to my site, and I can get, so I have a for loop set up, which is good. And it's going to increment through kind of a set of numbers here. Now, first thing that I want to show you how to do is, actually, let's get rid of that for loop. We're going to do our own. Is an array is a type of a way to store multiple variables of the kind of same type. So if I go int character array, and then we need this kind of square brackets equals, and then we do curly brackets. Int, we'll say numbers char equals, so integer number chars equals, and then we can go here 1, 2, 3, 7, 9. Let me just check on if I'm doing this right here. I did this ahead of time. Different one. Oh, I didn't. I'm going to copy and paste this and show you that format here quick. I will set this up. So don't follow that code. The more mistakes I make, the slower this is going to go. So this is just, I guess, a character value. This would be like, wouldn't necessarily have to be. Well, let's change it actually. Int, and what do we call it? Numbers. And you can see I have a list of, this is an array of numbers here is what this is. Okay, and so I've declared all those different values. Now they can be identified, the way to identify this would be numbers, and then square bracket 0, number square bracket 1, number square bracket 2, number 3, and 4. Okay, and that's the way, if I want to reference those, that's the way I would do it. So what I want to do is I want to find the values of these things. So now how did I set this up before? Yeah, so let's first of all set an integer value max to equal the first number in that sequence. So numbers and 0. 0. And what that's going to do is I'm going to make that equal to this first number in here, which is, in this case, 1. Now we're going to need a for loop. It's going to loop through this value here of max that we have, and kind of see if it gets greater than that. So just kind of taking a look at how I had this set up before. Yeah, we'll just do a counter. There we go. That's how I did it. So and then we're just going to have another integer. Integer we're going to call counter equals 0. Okay, and so that's the default value of that. And then we're going to go while counter is less than, and now this is where we want to go, numbers dot length. I think this is a built-in within Java, to get the length of an array, and I think that is how it's set up. Sometimes I gotta check back over here. Yeah, numbers length is how I do it. And then what we do, semicolon, so that's our condition. Well, counter is less than numbers dot length, and we'll say counter plus plus. So it's just going to increment. So it's going to loop through this. Okay, and then within inside our for loop, all we're going to do, okay, and so it's going to loop through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to check what max. So we're going to say if max is less than numbers, and then we're just going to use this value of counter because counter would be originally 0. Counter. Okay, and so that's the condition. If max is less than numbers counter, then we're going to make max is going to equal numbers counter, because that counter value is going to change every time we go through, if we're right. And then we want to just print that, right? So, and then within here, let's not print it till we're done, so till we're through this for loop even. And so we're going to go here. Our syntax for that, we can look on the assignment again, is just system out print line, right? So let's go back to our code. System.out. Let's snap that to the side here so I can see what I'm doing. Let's snap this as well. System out dot print line dot string dot value of, in this case we want it max, right? We want to print the value of max, and then close brackets and semicolon, and then we have our logic. So just let's run, we can run this here quick. So basically we've declared an array, okay? We declared an integer called max, okay? And we set it to the first number here, okay? Now we have counter, which is set to 0, so that's going to be the same as in here. And then with this counter is going to, well, counter is less than numbers.length, which is the length of this array, counter plus plus. So this is going to start with 0, and it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until it's at 5. That's the length, right? If max is less than numbers counter, which in the first time it's going to be 0, second time it's going to be 1, make max equal to that, and then we're going to print that. So this should run. Let's see if we have this right. I can't believe. So let's get, it's running. Okay, and so it found the maximum value here, which it says is 11. And so if I changed any of these numbers, so say I put a different number in here, let's put 23, just to make sure that this is working, and let's just run it again. Okay, compilation. Now this time around it's saying 23. So I just changed those values in that array, and then all I need to do is kind of paste this. Now obviously to do minimum, okay, if max is, now we just got to change this, right, is greater than numbers counter, okay, then it's going to equal min. So I change this max to min and change this greater than, or sorry, less than sign to greater than, and this is going to calculate min now. You should be able to do that on your own. I don't think I'm going to walk you through that one. I'm going to just take a snippet of this. We know how to do that. Snipping tool, search it if you don't know where it is. Go new, and I'm probably going to run out of video before I copy this, but let's take a look there. So there's my kind of snippet. There's my logic, and I just copy. Once again, paste that into my assignment D, and I can paste here. Of course, it's once again huge. I can shrink that down, and where did it go? Let's Let's go behind, make sure we're behind text, and then I can move that over to where